Hello YouTube, it's your host Son Raiko here, and I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but I got a banger for you today with billcipher versus Giratina for a Halloween special. Alright, getting straight into it, we'll start with billcipher scaling first since he's the more popular character at the moment with the resurgence of gravityfalls. It's stated verbatim in Journal 3 that there is a wider multiverse, and even Ford himself states this when he was showing Dipper the infinite-sided die. Time Baby states that billcipher is a threat to the fabric of reality, which could mean the multiverse instead of just the plain universe.
Hear this, Cipher.
Ugh, Time Baby.
If your rip in this dimension continues, it could destroy the very fabric of existence.
With that covered, we can then move on to the cosmology a little bit more with first the statement about Bill being from a higher plane of existence from when he met Ford. The Nightmare Realm being Bill's home, or I guess current home since his original one was destroyed, can be scaled to at least 5th dimensional since it's scaling above the base multiverse. From there, the Nightmare Realm is referenced to be infinite, which is important because that means that it's actually an infinite 5th dimensional construct. Scaling the cosmology to low complex multiversal or infinite 5D is consistent with the story since Ford had to learn 5th dimensional calculus in order to even build the portal to the Nightmare Realm. This is important because the Chakotron that Bill scales to in the series is powered by the portal, which was enough to shake the entire Nightmare Realm. Moving on onto speed, Bill should find himself in the immeasurable speed ranges via upscaling Time Baby and the minions who are able to hurt the Time Baby and punch him back into the Cretaceous period. We can also get him here by using his 5th dimensional nature, as being 5D would inherently give you immeasurable speed. Any relevant hacks and resistances will be mentioned later on in the breakdown between Bill and Giratina rather than their individual scaling, as I feel it's better to bring that up later rather than make the video longer listing all their individual abilities. If you want a more in-depth explanation of what Bill is capable of, I recommend checking out Goji Chronic's video on how strong billcipher is. I'll leave a link in the description and in the icon card. Moving on from the triangular dream demon, we'll talk about the ruler of the distortion world, Giratina, and what he's capable of. Just like Bill, Giratina scales to the cosmology of his verse, so we'll start off with that. In Celestic Town in the Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum games, it's stated that each individual universe in Pokémon is infinite in size. Just like Gravity Falls, Pokémon does have a wider multiverse, first starting off with the statement in Legends Arceus with Kagita telling us there's an innumerable number of dimensions. Next we have Ultra Space from the Sun and Moon games that has infinite wormholes that lead to those infinite universes. Sun and Moon as well as X and Y's animes both touch upon the infinite multiverse in their own ways. Sun and Moon talks about it while X and Y shows the reflection cave, which leads to infinite other reflection caves throughout the multiverse. Supporting all this is also the statement from Masuda himself in an interview where he says that time and space are indeed infinite in Pokemon. Next we have the reverse world or the distortion world, which is the reverse of the real world in Pokemon. It's also above time and space, which would mean that it exists beyond the infinite multiverse, which would make it a 5D realm or a low complex multiversal realm. And because it is the reverse of the Pokemon world, it would also be infinite in size. For a little more consistency, we do have the Arceus event from the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games, where it's stated that Palkia, Dialga, and Giratina are each the concepts of space, time, and antimatter respectively. Since the distortion world is beyond the concepts of time and space, which in turn would mean Giratina is beyond them since Giratina is the distortion world and Palkia and Dialga are the concepts of time and space. We also have more consistency with Giratina consistently being above Palkia and Dialga in multiple forms of media. Since Giratina is around the low complex multiversal ranges, this would also grant him immeasurable speed via the Tearing's nature. But you can also get Giratina to have nigh omnipresence since he is the distortion world itself. Now that we got the scaling out the way, who ends up winning this fight? billcipher or Giratina? Well, this matchup isn't so simple because both characters do have relative AP and speed, as well as durability and other stats, so There's no speed blitzing or any one-shots going on unless it's in the distortion world, in which case Giratina will speed blitz Bill with Deny Omnipresent granted to him. Although Giratina does speed blitz Bill in the distortion world, some of you out there may know that Bill can't be killed so easily since he is an idea. However, even with this immortality, Giratina still does have win cons. In the distortion world, Giratina could seal Bill away using anti-miter like he did to Palkia and Dialga. Palkia and Dialga's time and space manipulation should be higher than Bill's since they are those very concepts themselves. The reason this is relevant is because Palkia and Dialga could not escape being sealed in the distortion world by Giratina despite having manipulation over both those concepts. Even if Bill can break out, it wouldn't honestly matter since Palkia and Dialga have conceptual manipulation alongside Giratina since the three of them shape the Pokemon cosmology as a whole. Giratina also upscales Palkia and Dialga's mind resistance to hacks since he is unaffected by the red chain that mind hacks Palkia and Dialga. Giratina also has immunity to soul manipulation as he predates the soul in the original story, as well as in Pokemon Platinum revealing to us he is part of the original story. If you're more generous to Bill and you think that the scans on the screen right now mean that Bill has conceptual manipulation, then that is a possible win con for Bill, but that's honestly the only one he does have as his other hacks and abilities aren't good enough to take down Giratina for good. If the fight takes place outside of the distortion world in a neutral space, then what I think ends up happening is the fight becomes a lot closer because both of their speeds would be around the same tier in immeasurable speed and their AP is still relative like in the previous scenario. Other hacks that Bill has like paracanal cognition, precognition, and causality manipulation wouldn't work on Giratina considering he exists beyond time and space and also has fought Dialga who has these same abilities. With all the relevant abilities covered, this match only goes down in two ways in which Giratina wins both. In both scenarios, Bill and Giratina are going to be fighting for a long time, but eventually Bill will get out-hacked by Giratina and either dragged into the distortion world and be sealed away or conceptually erased, or he's just going to get erased in the neutral space. I never mentioned the Nightmare Realm because I never thought it was a huge factor, but if you did want to bring it into the discussion, it would just be treated the same way as neutral space as it doesn't have any crazy defining features or factors that would give Bill a huge advantage in this fight. In conclusion, Bill and Giratina have very similar stats, unless the fight takes place in the distortion world, in which case Giratina does speed blitz with nigh omnipresence. Giratina also out-hacks us and has better resistances against Bill's hacks than Bill has against Giratina's hacks, which ultimately has me deciding that the winner for today is Giratina.